my god, this is so freaking cool. Oh, why did it stop? Uh-oh. Building a PC can be intimidating. So in this video, I'll do my best to showcase the parts I used and the steps I took to make mine. I hope you enjoy my journey. I chose the AMD Ryzen 5950X because I wanted more than just a gaming PC. I want to make excellent content and play any game without being restricted by the power of my CPU. I chose the X570E because it's a middle-of-the-road motherboard. It's not high-end, but it's not low-end either. I needed a motherboard that supported the Ryzen 5000 series and has PCIe 4 support, DDR 4400 support, and M.2 slots, Wi-Fi, and a BIOS flash button. It also has plenty of plugins for HDMI, USB Type-C, and other good features. I chose Trident Z Neo because it pairs well with Ryzen AMD-U CPUs. I got 64 gigabytes, which is probably too much, but I want to be able to multitask and have many applications open without my PC lagging or operating more slowly. Besides, I like the look of 4 RAM slides filled on my motherboard. I chose the ROG Strix 850 watt power supply because it's white, and that was the aesthetic I wanted, but I ended up buying a 1000 watt power supply by ROG in black because I will have some issues later in the video that I thought were caused by my power supply, but that was not the case. I also needed a power cord from New Zealand, where I live. The other was from the US. I chose the Cooler Master ML360P because all 3 fans are already together, making it easier to install when I don't have to do them all separately. Plus, the silver color goes really well with my overall aesthetic. And then I bought 4 extra white fans for extra airflow. I bought Western Digital M.2 and 3 terabytes total. And then I bought 1500 gigabytes SSD drives from Crucial. We all know how difficult it has been to get a 30 series GPU. I was lucky enough to get a 3080 Ti by Palette for my GPU. I didn't go looking specifically for the Game Rock design, but the ice look worked well for my overall aesthetic, even if it looks strange without the RGB. So stick around to see it light up in RGB glory. I chose Corsair 5000X RGB for my PC case because I wanted a white case that would allow me to mount my GPU vertically. I also wanted something that would showcase all of my RGB components. I also wanted to fit mini fans, in this case fits 10. The downside is that it gets hot with the vertical GPU mount. So the first thing that I did was flash the BIOS, and I did this by using my power supply, plugged it into my motherboard, and then I basically updated to the latest BIOS version from the manufacturer's website and hit the BIOS flashback button, and the lights were blinking, indicating that it was updating. And once those lights stop blinking, that means that all of the updates are ready to go. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Just look up the information for your motherboard. That's basically what I did, and it worked out well. So I looked up a lot of YouTube videos about how to build a PC, and they all, seemed pretty easy, but I learned that doing the real thing isn't quite that easy. And remember, I am a noob at this. I've never done this before. So I was really, really scared to even take this CPU out, and it's heavier than it looks. And I know that there's a little golden arrow down at the right that you're supposed to line up with a black arrow on the motherboard. I really knew this in my head, but actually going for it and doing it, it took a bit longer than I would have liked. And, I left the footage in here just to show that, I'm new at this. It's quite intimidating. I was so scared that I was going to bend the little things on the back. I don't even know what they're called right now. But eventually, and it takes me a while, eventually though, I end up getting it right, and I didn't bend anything, I didn't scratch anything, but embarrassingly enough, it took me a while. Installing the RAM was not very difficult. I, again, took my cue from YouTube videos, and you just basically need to match or line up the notches on the RAM stick with the notches on the motherboard. And you do have to push it down a little bit harder than you might like, because, it's a lot of money and you don't want to break anything. So, but just realize that you are going to have to push down. Now, I chose to do 4 sticks of RAM, and so I don't really need to worry about exactly where I put my RAM sticks. I just need to fill out all 4 slots, and that makes it pretty easy. Installing the M.2 was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Again, taking my cue from YouTube videos, it just seemed like they just, took off the heatsink, unwrapped the M.2 and stuck it in there and screwed it down. But, I actually ended up making a mistake where the M.2 didn't actually lay flat, and it has to do with the way that I screwed in the standoffs, which I mention here. So I should have put the standoff in first and then laid down the SSD. So I fixed that later, and it was really a pain in the butt to do because the little screws are really hard to get out once you put them in. But I did do it off camera. Installing the motherboard was very easy. You just line up the standoffs and screw it in. That is if your PC case comes like pre-installed with standoffs. So mine did, and I just screwed them in. So I'm showing this because I did end up buying a new power supply in black, but it's all the exact same. It's ROG. It's just in black, and it's more watts. It's 1,000 watt instead of the 850. And so, what was it? It's called modular, I believe, meaning that you can just take whatever chords you need and, leave the rest. So it was pretty straightforward. think I did. I, kind of looked that up on YouTube as well and just made sure that, there wasn't hot air pushing into each other and the flow was, correct. pre-together, meaning like all three fans were already together. So that made it easier. I think that the hardest part was actually putting it into the case and putting the faceplate onto the CPU and screwing that down. That was actually quite difficult. I didn't really show it on my video, but I had to do that a few times, especially when I encountered some problems. But I think that this was pretty good. I think the only issue that I can see down the road with this is that if one fan were to, become broken. So now I'm just plugging in my power supply to my motherboard and all of the case cords into the motherboard as well so that everything works. Just make sure you're reading your instruction manual on exactly where you're supposed to plug things into your motherboard. That makes it a lot easier, of course. generation called Link Up. This is what I'm using to mount my GPU vertically in my case. You really want to make sure that you check the riser cable and make sure that it's an updated PCIe slot. Otherwise, you're going to have issues with your PC. It's not going to look correctly. So just double check that you get the right components for your PC. Even though my case allows for a vertical stand, I found that it gets really hot playing certain games, and I actually have to remove the case cover just so that it doesn't overheat. But my GPU looks so cool standing up. I just, I deal with the fact that I have to just kind of remove the case because I refuse to lay this bad boy down. Installing the GPU vertically wasn't too hard. It was pretty straightforward because my PC case allowed for it. Just getting the standoffs and everything right and, making sure that it doesn't collapse was the issue. But I like the way it looks. I think I have everything plugged in. Oh my God. I'm so nervous. I don't know if this is actually going to work at all. I really don't. Okay. Got something. Here it goes. Oh my God! The RGB is not working on these fans here. So I gotta figure out how to get the RGB to work there. But oh my God. Look at this graphic card! Oh my God, I did this! She's gorgeous! I gotta figure out how to get this to work. Why the RGB is not working on these. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, we have these 3 fans. I think maybe if I plug them into the back, that they'll work. I cannot believe I did this. I did this all by myself. Let's turn this off. Oh my god, this is so freaking cool! Oh, why did it stop? Uh-oh. Where's my light? What happened? What happened? Why did it turn off? That's not a good sign. Okay, it turned off for some reason. Alright, I don't know why it turned. But we actually got it up and working finally. Oh my god. Okay. So what ended up happening was I plugged my AOI cord into an RGB header by mistake. I'm not sure why I misread my manual so incredibly badly, but it was the reason why my PC kept shutting off. My CPU was overheating, and so it would shut itself off because it just wasn't being cooled by the AOI. So AIO, that is. So just make sure you're really looking closely at your manual and you're paying attention to where you're plugging things in, because this actually took a really long time for me to figure out on my own. I ended up basically taking a lot of things apart. I bought a new power supply thinking that maybe it was just not enough power. So it was just the smallest mistake that really almost ruined this whole experience for me. But I learned from that mistake and everything is working beautifully now. And I absolutely love my PC. So thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. And I really hope that you were inspired or you were entertained, and maybe you go off and make your own PC. Maybe you like exactly what I did. So if you did, I'll leave everything that I bought in the description box. And please consider, giving this video a like, maybe subscribing if you want to see more content from me. And this is the start of a whole new YouTube channel for me, and different content that I want to bring, starts with this PC. So thank you so much. And remember to take care of yourself and be kind to yourself, because you matter. Until next time, bye.